Superman and Thor, some of the most popular and powerful heroes in their own respected verses. And because of it, they're usually pitted against each other. But what will happen if they were to team up and fight other heroes and villains? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out. In this gauntlet, we're going to pit Superman and Thor together against 5 opponents. Now there's a couple simple rules. 1, in this hypothetical battle, everybody's going to be in character. So you can't make the argument, oh, Superman would have just speed blitzed. While sure he could have, in character, he doesn't usually abuse his speed, especially to people he underestimates. Secondly, in this hypothetical gauntlet, the battles are going to be back to back, meaning, for the sake of this video in question, we're going to presume the fights happen once after the other, with no time to rest or re-heal. So in one battle, if they get damaged, or let's say hypothetically, someone breaks an arm, in the next battle versus the next opponent, they will still have that broken arm. You see where I'm going? Anyways, these are the 5 opponents that they are going to be facing against. Doomsday, Hercules, the Hulk, the Silver Surfer, and the Sentry. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now starting with a classic Superman villain that most people should know, because in their original battle, he killed Superman, and this is none other than Doomsday. Now even though Doomsday was able to kill Superman, I do have the now superhero duo beating Doomsday, and here's my reasoning. Superman himself can usually stalemate, for lack of better words, against Doomsday, with Doomsday being slightly his superior. But then adding Thor, who is on their level with it, I believe that's enough to push him over the edge, beating Doomsday. But I do see Thor taking a little more damage than Superman during this fight, just because of the way his fighting style is. He likes to brawl, he likes to get up close and personal. He could abuse his range, lightning attacks, and thunder blasts, but that's not usually his go-to. Plus the fact that Superman has dealt with Doomsday before, and he knows his whole ordeal. And before you bring out the argument, oh, Doomsday would just adapt, Doomsday has been beaten a couple times in the comics without being killed, just knocked out or incapacitated. And with Superman already having fought Doomsday, he should know his whole ordeal is evolving. So they could simply incapacitate him, winning this first round. Now moving on to the next round, we have Marvel's Hercules. Which, this gauntlet is out of order a bit, because Hercules should be a tier below Doomsday, but they take this battle even easier than they did with Doomsday, especially due to each of them being superior in almost every way. Hercules only really being somewhat comparable to Thor in pure strength, but with Thor's lightning area of effect and Superman's speed, he doesn't really have much of a chance, and goes down without dealing too much damage, or if any, to our heroes. But he does stay in the game a bit due to his combat prowess and experience, due to being a demigod, but they beat him all the same. Now up to round 3, and here's an interesting one. Because of Current's Hulk relation to the Green Door and the One Below All, which kinda makes him immortal and very hard to kill. But this doesn't necessarily mean impossible though. But with his amped regeneration and his iconic strength that scales with his rage, I definitely see him making Thor and Superman work for the victory. Especially with what I said before, considering his regeneration, which he can survive being completely cut up and separated. Also with his now long-range abilities, such as his iconic Thunderclap and Gamma-related Laser Eyes. Also when he gets angry enough, he can stir up Gamma-related energy and then expel it all at once, creating a bigger than nuke-size explosion, which should definitely help him stay in the game longer, just not win this battle. As I do see again, eventually Superman and Thor beating Hulk. Especially because over the years, Thor and Hulk were seen as more or less rivals and equals tier-wise. Neither have been firmly above the other, and they've always put up a good fight against each other. Now add someone like Superman to the mix, and you can definitely see why I have the duo winning. But not before taking some damage and making their next fight even harder for them. Moving on to round 4, and here's a controversial take, but I feel a non-jobbing Silver Surfer would beat most normal versions of Superman in character, mainly because of his power set, which can hard counter Superman's. Now if you don't know much about Silver Surfer, he is a herald of Galactus, thus Galactus granting him a portion of the power cosmic, which is very wishy-washy in what it can do, as it doesn't have any real limitations or real rules, I should say. But because of the power cosmic, and the main reason I'm bringing this up, he has power over and can manipulate cosmic radiation and energies, including solar radiation. And as you can guess, that's the very thing that powers Superman. So just like that one time where he was able to drain the Hulk of his gamma radiation, I can definitely see him sensing Superman having an abundance of energy and trying to drain him of it. And with his comparable massively faster than light speeds, he should definitely be able to get in range to do something to Supes. Not saying it would be easy, just saying it's possible. And this way would definitely have to be one of the only ways he can gain a victory over Superman, because physically he's definitely outmatched. But even if he was able to succeed in doing this to Superman, which I definitely see the Surfer having less of a problem draining or even killing in character, before I see Superman doing it. That still leaves the problem of Thor in this battle. And with everybody here starting in character, Thor has canonically beat the Surfer before, but the Surfer is no pushover, as you can see. And taking the time to consider the circumstances of this prompt, and with him already being in multiple previous hard battles and being damaged and not at 100% capacity, I could honestly see this go either way. But for the sake of the prompt, I'm going to give this a hard won battle to Thor, moving them up to the final round, and making this the hardest battle they've had so far. Now, onto the final and 5th round, in which we have the battle damaged duo fighting the Sentry. And now, if you don't know who the Sentry is, let me just give you a brief overview of him. His name is Robert Reynolds, a man who accidentally, after breaking into a lab, discovered the Golden Sentry Serum, which was Canada's take and try to recreate the Super Soldier Serum back in the 40s. But unknowingly and mistakenly, after consuming the Golden Sentry Serum, Robert then gained the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, and boosting his already unstable mind even further into chaos, creating an alter ego, if you will, of the Void. And he is very versatile, as some of his powers include super strength, speed, durability, flight, a healing factor, able to regenerate from mere bones, and even less, immortality, energy manipulation, able to shoot energy blast, and even reality warping and molecule manipulation, strong enough to boss around the Molecule Man, which in and of itself is no joke, as that guy is extremely powerful. Now, after saying all that, if Superman and Thor were at full strength, I could 100% see a case where they beat the Sentry, or maybe even the Void, with moderate or very high difficulty. But seeing how that really isn't the case here, with Superman recovering from being drained and Thor barely winning over the Surfer in the previous round, they definitely hard stop here in this round, with the Sentry, with enormous power in his own right, finally beating the heroes rather easily in the state they are in. But they were able to make it to the final round, which is impressive considering the lineup includes some of the most iconic and powerful heroes and villains in the Marvel or DC universe. Anyways, what did you think? Do you agree with my scaling and who they would beat and who they would lose to, and my reasoning why? Do you disagree? Do you think I'm wrong and they should have cleared, or they should have been beaten earlier? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.